Hello, Tarot friends, and welcome back to Tantra and Tarot with Kelly, where I'm offering spiritual entertainment for the moment. Today, we're going to discuss a few things that is going on in the sky right now. We have the upcoming lunar eclipse in Pisces, and then we have the equinox, and then we have a solar eclipse in Libra. So yeah, we're going to do a few card readings here, and we're going to see what all this crazy energy means. I know some people are already feeling the change. They're feeling the shift. They're wanting to instigate maybe some endings and new beginnings in their life. These eclipses always bring new beginnings and endings. However, it changes, the area of your life that they're in because of where the nodes are. And right now we have the North Node in Aries around 6.5 degrees, and then we have the South Node in Libra at about the same degree, around 6 or 7. So that means that's where approximately the eclipses are going to take place. However, the first one that we have is going to be just a little bit over into Pisces at 25 degrees of Pisces, and then the solar eclipse will be at 10 degrees of Libra. So you could check in your chart and see where those land. That may give you a little bit more clue as to what area of life you're going to be seeing some of these new beginnings and endings. However, it can be somewhat of an emotional time regardless, just because sometimes things happen by surprise. So be prepared. I'm going to go ahead and just start with the reading. Bottom of the deck, when I cut, I've got the Judgment card. I'm using the Osho Zen Tarot deck here. The Judgment card here, it says Beyond Illusion. That's number 20. And that means that things could be coming back from the past for us to work through. There may be some things that you have put to rest that now you're going to have to figure out what to do with. It can be also an awakening of sorts. So you may be going through more of a spiritual awakening at this time. With the eclipse in Libra, certainly or the eclipse in Pisces, certainly it's going to be a very spiritual time. So let's see here. Top of the deck, speaking of spirituality, I've got the Hierophant card right here. It says no thingness, like nothing, but no thingness. And the idea is that here, as we're going through this awakening, you may determine that as much as you thought you needed, you really don't need as much as you thought. That the spirituality and the higher realms that you are trying to achieve happen when less is more. So all of that running around that you've been doing, all of those things you've been trying to achieve, perhaps those could be achieved more or less in silence as you do some more inner work, and that seems to be more important at this time. Okay, bottom of the deck here, I've got the Lovers card. So when we're talking about eclipses, yes, it can mean that sometimes we are looking into perhaps some choices as it has to do with relationships, especially since this solar eclipse is going to be in Libra, the ruler of the 7th house. And then also at this time, the Lovers is a Gemini card. We do have Jupiter in Gemini. And they are going to be making somewhat of an aspect here over these next 2 weeks. We have Jupiter right now at about 15 degrees of Gemini, and so that will be working with the solar eclipse on a trine. So you may feel this expansive energy. You may feel just the need to set a course into a new direction. Of course, you may get some luck with that. Perhaps there is some frustration going on about when's my new beginning going to start. We are going to feel some of those new beginnings coming now. Maybe some of the stuff that you thought 6 months ago when we had the eclipses at the end of, at the beginning of Aries and in mid Libra, that maybe you thought at that point there was going to be more of a resolution, but now you're thinking that you probably had to wait a little bit longer. So it's a good idea to, stay patient. However, I do think that a lot of people are going to be feeling like they're getting some of those answers that they wish they would have had approximately 6 months ago. So keep up the good work if you've been working your buns off to to try to get to the point where change is happening in a positive way for you. I'm going to take a few extra cards here. I'm taking a couple I Ching cards. I'm taking a Moonology card, and then I'm taking a couple of archetype cards, and we'll see what else we have. But more or less, you know, these eclipses certainly are a lot of what you make of them. And there's been a lot of interesting energy, I would say, as it has to pertain to being your own authority. We've had a lot of influence with Saturn at the eclipse that we're going to be having here this weekend on the 17th of September. That is the lunar eclipse. It will be conjunct Saturn. So you may be feeling like this constriction, like you want to expand, but you're constricted right now. So you have to kind of go back to the drawing board and saying, okay, what can I change and what can't I change at this moment? And working within the means of what you have. Like maybe there are some changes you want to make. Maybe you want to go back and take some classes, but you don't quite have the money to do it. That can be a perfect example of how you want to expand, but then you're contracted right now and not able to make that change. So it may feel like there's been something you've been searching for on the outside. However, there is going to be a lot of inner work going on right now, and most of those answers can be found on the inside. So let's see what we have for the tarot here. Like we said, at the bottom of the deck, we had the Lover's card, and our past energy we have is 10 of Wands. Current energy, 3 of Wands. Future energy, Queen of Wands. And our main energy for this time frame is the 6 of Wands. So a lot of Wands energy here, a lot of fire, which is interesting because neither of these eclipses are happening in fire. But what does that mean to me just briefly? And then we'll go over more in detail. It means that you are likely going to be finding that your ships are coming in, that which you set out to do, that you've put a lot of effort into. Now, finally, you feel like there is going to be some success, like it says here. But let's see what else we have for the cards, and then we'll get into this more deeply. Our very interesting, our animal card we have here is the fire ant. Our archetype cards that we have are teacher and slave. And then our I Ching, we have number 5, patience. And then we have number 49, revolution. The Moonology card I drew here is new moon in Capricorn. Your hard work is paying off. So I do see a lot of energy towards work in this reading right now, but also decisions as they have to pertain to areas of your life that you need to, I guess, create success for yourself. I'm calling this video the flow state because sometimes we work so hard, we put so much pressure on ourselves. We've got this 10 of Wands here. This person just can't take it anymore. There's like so much energy that's been accumulated and so many tasks that have had to be done in the past that you've just more or less had it. You're like, okay, I'm done with carrying this load for somebody else. I'm done with putting so much pressure on myself as it pertains to perhaps a job or different responsibilities that you felt like that were yours. And you know, when we're talking about responsibility, and we have this Capricorn here, this card new moon in Capricorn, it really speaks to me about that Saturn influence and learning to become your own inner authority in such a way that the outer world doesn't, all those voices, all of these people, all of these things that are going on around you, they just don't have as loud of a noise, I guess, in your head in some ways, because you are deciding now, okay, I'm going to experience that which I want and not that which this other person may be telling me to do or feeling like it's my responsibility, but stepping out and choosing a new start for yourself while you are saying to yourself, okay, I'm going to be my own boss. Even though I may work at this desk, I may work for this other company, at my desk, I'm going to run my own shop. I'm going to run my own business. And maybe some of you are starting a new business right now, which is lovely. And good luck to you if you are. However, managing your business, no matter who you work for or what you do, is going to be very important for success. So this will come, though, we do have highs and lows in life, and perhaps you've been through a low and now you're on a high. Maybe there's been kind of a roller coaster feeling of what's been going on, but things are working out for you. Depending on others right now, I say is maybe a challenge. It could be best to focus on what you can do for yourself that doesn't have to depend on all these things from other people. And that may simplify it. You may say to yourself, okay, like in this card here, we have the fire ant. And like, the more we think about the drama, the more we bring energy into the drama, the more we throw fire on the logs, logs on the fire, it just seems to build. And like, there may be something that you've been carrying around and you try to talk to somebody about it, it seems to get worse, or you're hearing people talk about things that are just too much at this point. And we have Mars right now in Cancer, and Mars in Cancer is going to square the sun and the moon on the solar eclipse. So there may be a lot of fighting and kind of feisty energy going on here, so that you feel like somebody wants to be at the top, like there has to be some kind of a winner here, when we all can be, of course, winners in at our own game, playing your own game, not having to play games with others, perhaps walking away from the game, so that there isn't so much of this, oh my gosh, can you believe what she did? Oh my gosh, did you hear about this? And all of this, you're right, she's wrong, this type of thing. And that can just take it could just exhaust us. Maybe it's the drama that is exhausting right now, and you need to figure out how you can step away from it in a way that, you're creating your own revolution here, and you aren't being swept away in all of the energetics of others. And in being your own higher power, and listening to your own wisdom, it can be a little bit challenging. Maybe you need to cut some people off. Maybe you need to kind of go inward more, so that you can be a teacher and bring the light to yourself. And then, of course, once you learn the lesson, you could help others around you, but it's not going to make things better when we just sit there and nag about everyone else. In general, like when you're complaining, it's a sign that you're trying to control something that is out of your control. And by complaining, you may feel like you have more control over the situation, when really you're just putting a negative energy on it. And you can shift that thinking into something that could be more solution oriented, rather than just say bitching about it. So watch for some of that. This teacher card says ability to communicate, knowledge, experience, skill, or wisdom. And then it says shadow attribute, manipulating or abusing students, teaching negative traits and destructive skills. So being a very good example, instead of trying to tell people, like say you're really annoyed with somebody's actions and you're trying to correct them, instead of trying to tell them, hey, that's annoying, and complaining, like we said, and as a means of trying to control, it's best to just live life be the best example. Sometimes the best teachers don't have to say anything. The best leaders get followed because they are their best own inner leader, not because they're sitting there always telling everybody what to do all the time. So your success will come when you're the best leader of yourself, and then that energy does get matched on the outside, and you feel that you're getting rewarded, and perhaps you aren't so much of a slave to society at this point, but there's real rewards that are coming to you. So what does this say? Slave. And it is a bit like this 10 of Wands, where you're just having to do everything that everyone says, or maybe you're feeling a bit like a victim, and so you do more than what you need. You're doing more than your fair share. So it says slave, light attribute, surrendering your power of choice to the divine with complete trust. Shadow attribute, giving your willpower to an external authority out of fear of making your own choices. And the one major arcana we have in this reading is the Lovers, which is choices. So if you're sitting there stuck, then you are being a slave to the things around you. I'm surprised we didn't get the Eight of Swords, because a lot of times that is feeling stuck, and it can have to do with those Saturn transits as they're working with you intimately, as they're showing you the areas that you are choosing to be stuck because you're afraid to make those choices for yourself. So there are going to be new doors opening. The doorways that are going to be opening, though, are going to be based on, I think, more of this creative solution that you're doing, perhaps doing things in a different way, alchemizing energy, this experiencing, something interesting that I've been thinking about is that we tend to go out as people, and we go searching for that which is going to make you happy on the outside. And you may be going to all these events and going out with friends and checking out this new restaurant or going to this concert and doing these things so that you feel like you are having this rich experience on the outside, but on the inside, you may possibly be still feeling empty, regardless of how much energy you're putting on the outside, because your inner world is needing you right now. Your inner world is saying, okay, like, I see everything that you're doing, but I want you to be more, and not do more, but be more. And you may find that you've already succeeded, and you're just still comparing yourself to everybody else out there, which, they're all going to do their thing, and you need to do your thing. And that's where you're going to have success. Not looking at what the person next to you is doing. It's like swimming your own race, running your own race in your own lane. You're only going to slow down when you look to see how fast this person's doing, or look over to here to see if they've completed the finish line yet. Your finish line may be way further down the road, or maybe you've already completed your finish line and you're still competing against people because you think you haven't given yourself that credit yet. So the credit that you have completed a phase, that you have perhaps reached this destination that you feel like you've been going through all these changes for, and your soul has evolved in a way, but perhaps you're still giving your control away to others based on their opinions of where you're at. So taking stock of all of those right now could be very helpful, because you don't need to do more work than you need to. Your hard work has already paid off. So relishing a bit in that which you've done, finally saying, okay, I'm going to take a pause. I'm going to relax. The things that need to fall away will fall away. The things that need to come to me will come to me, but only when I let go of the control mechanisms that are keeping you stuck. So let's read more about this I Ching. Number 5 we have is patience. Let's read a bit about that, and then we're going to have a special line between the two. However, I will say, now that we have this equinox coming around, the equinox is when we have equal days of light and dark. The day is just as short as the night. This is kicking off Libra season, which is the scales. It's represented by the scales. And in seeking balance, there are certainly things that need to change. Perhaps things aren't balanced as you want them to be, and you're going to have to get rid of some things so that things flow, so you can be in that flow state where you aren't having to grasp onto things to like steady yourself, and you're able to just swim with the current, like Pisces can do when their head and their heart are on the same page. So let's see here. Okay, it says patience. Here we are with the fish. A fisherman can cast the line, but still can only wait for the fish to bite. Your catch will come in its own good time. You can't make it come sooner. Not by working or by planning or by wishing. Though you may have a need to provide nourishment, it is only through patience that you can become the bridge between the fickle fish and the eventual feast. Strength in a time of trial waits quietly, resolutely. Weakness grows agitated, abandoning the effort before the fish start biting. Periods of waiting are most fruitful when used for quiet contemplation. This is patience. Proceed cautiously but resolutely with whatever you are doing. The situation calls for consistency and perseverance. Waiting is an essential skill. Patience is a powerful force. Time is an ally for those with inner strength. The strength that allows you to become uncompromisingly honest with yourself while sticking to the path you have charted, much like this Queen of Wands here. If you persevere with a positive attitude, time weakens even the hardest obstacles. To rush anything, to force results, stimulates resistance and causes setbacks. At best, you achieve surface changes that may be reversed just as quickly. Steadfast waiting, holding to your integrity, leads to slow but permanent improvements. In the end, you accomplish something great. Be content to practice patience, which is extremely challenging. It's something that I've been working on. I don't feel that I've completely achieved this. However, it's something that I work on, and allowing things to come, and not trying to force. I recently was reading about the art of not forcing, and this allowing and this timing that we are going through will bring the reward or the solution that is the best one. And if you try to chase, like I see in a lot of people, I would say, that are trying to chase their dream down to the point where the dream is elusive, and then you may be chasing relationships, you may be chasing just anything. Maybe you're on a you're in a toxic pattern of chasing things instead of waiting for them to come to you. And this may be an area of change that you are trying to focus on right now. But the good news is we have revolution here. So it's going to happen whether you are ready for it or not. 49, let's see what number 49 says here. I do feel that there are going to be blessings. However, not always are these blessings as obvious as they may seem. Something can be a blessing in disguise when you may think it was perhaps negative. There could be some real positives coming out of it. So patience, right? All right, here we are, revolution. The elements of this hexagram are fire under water. Fire evaporates water, and water puts out fire. Similarly, change often causes conflict, and conflict brings about change. This hexagram refers to a time in the cycle of human affairs when things are stirring up, and the hint of dramatic change is in the air. In order to succeed, a revolution must be in alignment with the laws of nature and good timing. It must begin at the right moment, gather support from a broad base of people, be guided by sincere and capable leaders, and most importantly of all, address real need. The strength of the forces of change will always be in proportion to the urgency of the need being championed. This is true whether the revolution is in government, business, or education, or your own personal affairs. Revolutionary change ushers in a period where chaos arises from order. We did have order out of chaos on one of my previous readings, so maybe feeling a little bit more order at this time. Let's remember that not all order is good and not all chaos is bad. Chaos is often an integral part of the way things evolve, as any parent or evolutionary science will confirm. This hexagram reminds us to have the courage to radically change and renew the way we bring ourselves to life. In this way, you can channel chaos in your cause and unleash a new power on behalf of the good, which of course can be highly creative. If engaging in a negotiation, change the rules. If composing a piece of music, add the unexpected. If courting a lover, dare to be unconventional. Combat between forces of dark and light are cyclical. As such, one can be aware of these cycles and master them through preparation. In periods of drought, even wild storms are preferable to just another sunny day. A new season awaits. And that's so true with our equinox. A new season is awaiting. We are moving into fall, and fall begins like the Vata season, which in Ayurveda means it's like the drying out and like the death. And we're moving towards Scorpio season, of course, after Libra, which is death and transformation. So we're going to be working with these darker forces, perhaps these energies that just, it may feel a little uncomfortable. And in doing so, though, you become comfortable with the fact that, you know, for every light there is a dark. I mean, we have to have the balance, we have to have the harmony in order to make the world go round. We don't have the darkness, then we can't have the lightness, and vice versa. So like we said, some of the changes that may seem negative, that may seem dark, there is a light, there is that silver lining. So just be prepared, but don't just focus on the light only, because we have to have both. And so if you've been, you know, basking in the light, so to say, it may, you know, the period of being on top may be over. As the roller coaster goes up, it also must come down. And in order to get to the top, you have to start at the bottom. So if you have to bring something up, if you're trying to understand something, and you bring something up from the bottom, bring it up to understand it, to let it go, rather than just to bring it up to complain, as to not, you know, change anything about yourself or about the scenario. Maybe just bring more drama to it. Although bringing things to life is important, if you're the one trying to stir the pot and cause the drama very likely could come back to you. So be prepared, be aware, and try to focus on your highest good for your soul's evolvement at this time. So there is a changing line between number 5 and 49, and we're going to see what that is to give us a little bit more insight. We have, let's see here, lines 2, line 4 that are changing here. So I'm going to read line 2 and line 4. Perhaps that should give us a little bit more insight off of card number 5. So card number 5, line 2 says, strife can easily develop now. You may have to tolerate gossip, but in the end, if you remain calm and magnanimous, you will come out well. Things will resolve themselves. Think of small grains of sand which accumulate over time to form embankments or dikes across wetlands. Sand is more fragmentary than stone, but harder than soil, and can be used to alter the texture of both. Like sand, you must be strong and accommodating, even though others may blame you. Avoid being sucked into conflict. Remain neutral. Remaining neutral, that's a great plan when you feel this coming up. Maybe it's at work and everyone's complaining about something. You can hear it, but you don't have to listen, and you can acknowledge it, but you don't have to take a part in it. So, and then let's read line number 4. You may be isolated and in a vulnerable position. Although escape is essential, the only way out is to retain your composure and patience. There's no chance of great success now. Survival is the immediate concern. New opportunities will come from the sacrifices you're willing to make. If necessary, keep out of sight in order to avoid direct confrontation. Sometimes the only honorable course is to accept one's fate and avoid the humiliation of railing against the inevitable. Sometimes we don't have to win. It's like everyone's always about winning all the time. You know what? A lot of times the winner just walks away, isn't part of the race, ends early, doesn't get to the finish line because they realize that they've already won. There's no need to complete something if you already feel that you have the key on the inside. For example, I was struggling with feeling like I have done enough. And in one at one event I was at, I just felt like I got the key that says, okay, you've done enough. And it opened a door to my inner world, which was more or less the destination the whole time, unlocking my interior life in a way that I don't feel lonely and I don't feel like there's something that I'm missing. So to be part of the crowd means that you're going along with everybody else, but to stand on your own means that you're saying that you have succeeded according to your own rules, according to your own higher power, and that will make you a better authority unto yourself, so you don't have to succumb to other people's odd rules and situations, more or less. Gotta work gonna work a little bit under the table maybe right now, but whatever it takes, right? Whatever it takes. And I'm gonna pick one more animal card because I feel like we need one more, and it's gonna be this one right here. Love it. Unicorn. Okay, let's read a little bit about the unicorn to wrap it up. The unicorn is your third eye. It talks about your communication with the divine, using your intuition. Also, it's like the pituitary gland. So let's read what the unicorn has to say. It is one of the seven chakras. It's the sixth chakra. And in the sixth chakra, we trust our intuition, and we connect to this higher wisdom within. So unicorn, reconnecting to higher wisdom or divinity. It is difficult to see, hear, or think of a unicorn without immediately questioning if it's real. Did they ever exist? Perhaps long, long ago? The mind answers maybe, or it could be, or no way. This very contemplation explains our relationship with divinity and encapsulates our wavering belief in the unicorn. We wonder what divinity is. We wonder where our intuition comes from, and if we can really trust it. We think about a higher power and our mind hesitates between yes, no, and maybe. Is it male or female? Does it have a name? Is it just a feeling? The unicorn card appears and wakes us up to curiosity about the higher self and the divine. It is a card of questioning, exploring, and contemplating the inexplicable. The mind's eye knows there is something beyond our day-to-day lives, a deeper dimension to our experiences. The mind's eye reaches and reaches and reaches out to grasp something more. You are the unicorn. You have begun your quest for the answers. And in the reaching, you may realize that you don't really have to reach that far, that you already own it and you already have it. You just didn't notice that you already had it because you were too focused on maybe other people recognizing it within you. And all you had to do was recognize it within yourself. So it says, it's no surprise the subtle essence of the unicorn card resides at the third eye, the exact place from which the unicorn's horn extends. This center is called Anja chakra, or command center. The ancient yogis believed it to be responsible for our intellect, intuition, and deepest wisdom. Some say our two eyes see the past and present, while our third eye peers into the future. So the future's coming. It's always coming. These eclipses are going to be powerful. You may not see them in the sky. They're going to be partial. They may not be viewable over the United States. However, they're still going to be there. So just stick with the flow state as much as you can. Try to get rid of any of those control elements that are still going on, and trust on a deep level that your intuition is going to guide you in the way that you need to go. So I hope you have a lovely eclipse season. I hope everything goes well. Enjoy the fall equinox, and I will be back to speak with you very soon. Please subscribe to my channel for more Tantra and Tarot.